Good morning, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are safe and fine. Welcome again with a new chapter number 6 Tissue. Tissue is actually a group of cell which I have already discussed, that is the fundamental and structural basic unit of life is called cell. So when cells group together and cluster together, it forms a tissue. And when tissues combine together, group together, it forms a particular organ like the heart, kidney, liver. And when organs combine together, it forms a whole system, right? So here in this chapter we are going to discuss about the tissues, the different type of tissues and what are their functions. So it is well known that all living organisms are made up of cells, right? And they are either unicellular or multicellular. The unicellular organisms like bacteria, yeast, protozoas, etc., and multicellular like the man, lion, dog, cockroach, etc. Right? So in unicellular organism, which is made up of single cell, all the functions or all the activities are done by a single cell, like the intake of food, the intake of oxygen, that is respiration, excretion, reproduction. These all activities of organism are performed by a single cell. But in multicellular organism, it composed of million of different type of cells, right? And these cells cluster together in order to perform specific function of the body. Since a group of cell is required to carry out a particular function, and the cell perform the function very efficiently. For example, in human beings, the movement of body or a particular organ is done by the muscles. The muscle cells cluster together and perform contraction and relaxation to perform movement. And similarly, nerve cells coordinate to carry messages. Blood cells and plasma flow to transport oxygen, food, and waste materials. Similarly, in plant cells, cluster of cells to perform specific functions such as transportation of food and water from one part to the other. So, synthesis of food material, storage, reverse food, etc. Thus, a kind of division of labor exists in the cells of multicellular organism to perform a specific function, right? So, division of labor refers to the distribution of different functions among different part of the organisms, which get specialized for the particular function. So multicellular organism required different type of tissues to perform different functions. So finally, a group of cells that are similar in structure and or work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Now the question arises that are plants and animals made of same type of tissues? Plants and animals have different structures and functions, thus the tissues which they possess are also different. So if we compare between plants and animal tissues, we found that animals are mobile, so they require more energy and hence more living tissues are required. On the other hand, plants are stationary, means they do not move, so they do not require much energy, hence more living tissues are not required. Another is that animals move from one place to another, right, for their different needs, right, for food, for shelter, etc. Hence they need more energy and their more tissues are living. On the other hand, in plants, most tissues provide structural strength. Most of these tissues are dead and can provide mechanical strength as easily as the living ones and need less maintenance. Another is that cell growth is uniformly distributed and it is definite. On the other hand, in plant cells, growth is limited to certain region and it is indefinite also. Structural organization of organs and organ system is more specialized and very complex in animal cells, whereas it is less complex in plant cells.